Hi there and welcome to another First Play. This is AJ from Gaming and Tech Network, and this is for F1 2011, which came out on the 23rd of September in the United Kingdom. And I've been playing it busily all this week, trying to hone in on the skills, get back the feedback, see what the new features are. Just one race, one massive race weekend, and that really is going to be what this whole video is based around, is the new features, a little bit about the background of the game, and then we'll just literally hone in on the menus today, really. So coming into this is the new trailer area. It's a bit of a difference to 2010. As you can see, there's no female in there who's your agent. It's literally all done by the laptop now, which is your main focus point. You've got your emails, which there's a bit of information in there. I'll show you the archive bits actually, because that gives you a bit more information as to what was in the new emails, and the contract offers. And here's the press clippings. Again, more about the sort of like the driver's experience. Is trying to engage you, is trying to just bring you into the world of Formula 1, really. And it's not bad. It's not bad. And these are all your previous emails. They're pretty much bog standard, these are, but there's handy little ones like this, which they give you all the details about where the team wants you to roughly place in the whole of the weekend. Like for example, for this Malaysia Grand Prix, they want me to 20 place for qualifying, and then for the race they want me to finish in a low in the 18th. And then details of the weekends or other, which you could get later on, but it's just a bit of a nice personal touch, really. Your standings, self-explanatory really. This just shows you your standings within the whole of the Grand Prix, and your constructors' standings as well. And here's your track info. Again, you can get it later on, but it's just a bit more personal, gives you a bit more information, and you're kind of seeing it here on the central bit here. I guess they're trying to pad it out a bit, really, but hey. And here's your helmet designs. Same as 2010, is trying to give you a bit of a personal touch, but I mean, there's a lot of designs here. It doesn't really make any difference. You just what you're wearing when they show the video of you later on. And that TV screen shows you a little bit about the it's like kind of like a, I guess, a headcam type thing of the current track that you're on. This is showing Kuala Lumpur, which is the Malaysia Grand Prix track. Interesting. Bit of background info. And this is the race calendar, which is where you can view all of the tracks for the whole of the season, 19 in total, from Australia to Brazil. It's displayed on a world map, and then it literally, bam, zooms in onto that country. And again, down in the bottom left, you can see the objective statuses. I obviously didn't do very well in the last one. 24th in qualifying due to some bad accidents. Race 19th, not bad. The fastest lap of 132. Not brilliant, but this screen just gives you a bit more information about the track, the map. And again, so if we go into this, we'll go into the practice, and we'll see where we go. Welcome to Malaysia, to the Sepang International Circuit. Am I saying that right? I have absolutely no idea, so if anybody can correct me, feel free to do so. And that's me, and that's the helmet. Whatever design you want, that's it there. Bam. So, this is your on the screen. You've got your tyres, your car monitor, and your engineer section. So I'll focus on the tyres first, which obviously, as you can see, just behind there, by the mechanic, Pirelli. Some new tyre sets for 2011, and it certainly adds a bit of interest to the whole game. When I was doing the race yesterday, completely different setup. You have to actually really manage your tyres, which is fantastic. Of course, you can set off that option or untick it in the main menu. It's entirely up to you. I just like to have the simulation of the tyre depreciations. You have options, your primes, your intermediates, and your full wets. So here's your car monitor, complete bank of information, massive supercomputer way. Just gives you a lot of information and a lot of different areas. So here's your live time for the session overview. It just shows you all of the status of the other cars on track. It shows them their section 1, 2, 3 is on the laps, the lap times, the best times. I mean, it shows you all yours, so you can actually sit there and you can compare it, and you can go, right, well, I'm fastest in section 1, but section 2 I need to build up a few seconds. You know, it's all information feeding back to you so you know where to improve. And there you can see on the right of that just a little bit of a track screen where you can see cars and where they're currently on track. So here is the weather screen, which just gives you a bit of detailed information about what the weather's going to be like, chance of rain, etc. for the race, so you can just plan a bit extra ahead. And on the bottom underneath that you can see Anonymous, Yano Truly and A Bridgewood. But that obviously A Bridgewood is me, AJ. And it just gives you information on your best laps for that session. So when you're in P2 you can go back to P1 and you can see what your personal best was then, compare it to P2, etc, etc, which is fantastic actually, fantastic little feature. And there's your qualifying in your race, so you can actually skip to them just straight from the screen. So if you don't want to do the practice, you don't want to do the qualifying, skip straight to it. Probably not advisable because you'll probably be put straight at the back. But here is again your track info. Not much difference from the one back in your trailer. It's here and handy, I guess, so you can check it whenever you want. But it's back at the trailer as well if you've already checked it. Research and development, again like in F1 2010, it's now judged by your teammate, but I think if you sort of like take on the teammate challenges, I don't know anything about them at this stage because obviously it's quite early in the career, but once you take them on I think you can take the lead and actually choose what areas you want the car to develop in. Obviously there you can see balanced, intermediate, aggressive, and I presume it's just different things, but we've already got a rear bodywork improvement which will increase the rear downforce by 5%, which is great. So they're just like team challenges. The last one I had to beat certain lap time and over I think all 3 practice sessions, and then obviously granted that. And here finally is your car setup. This is giving you all your options to change the braking, different areas, your aerodynamics, your balance of the car, your suspension, your gearbox. You can change the different gear ratios, your engine, so you can choose which engine unit you want, because obviously they all decrease over the course of the season, but you've actually only got 8 engines, so you have to really manage them anyway. Your fuel mapping, I'll come on to this a bit later, but essentially this is a new thing for 2011. You can change which kind of fuel map you want. So lean, it's a bit sort of lacking on power, so to speak, or less power. Your standard is like, again, a bit more power, a bit more acceleration. And rich, that's the highest end of the scale, but obviously it uses a lot more fuel. And you'll find that out sort of like in the racing. You have to really manage your fuel, and it's actually really good. Again, you can untick that box. You don't have to have that section for the game. It's completely up to you, completely about player choice. And this sets your different fuel quantity for the time that you go out on track. So you could have full 58 if you want, just to test the car when it's fully loaded, and your wheel alignment as well. And that's obviously load safe. So here we have in your engineer options, if there's like an R&D section or just a little challenge, it will appear above that as well, so you can just jump straight into that. You've got quick car setup. I like to go into it and just do straight to whatever I feel like, and then just completely customize it from there. So for this, dry, because it's dry at the minute. So we'll go to the track right now.
All set.
So they've changed the engineers obviously from 2010, because there's a lot of talk about the Cockney race engineers, and they all look the same for each team. So I'm not quite sure if they've changed that. We'll take this as a slow lap around this. I'll do a further video later on after I perfected the settings for this, just to show the whole track. here on the right hand side of the screen there's a free menu thing. I'm just flicking through there. It's basically your onboard card. And there you have your details about the fuel or temperatures of the car. So the blue sections now, that's your brakes. The green bits, they're your tyres. And the central section, that's your engine. I haven't actually seen it get hot yet, which is interesting. But it has nearly done. But I can imagine it will be quite interesting to see. And interestingly, in your race mode, when you pit and put on a new set of tyres, it actually starts them from cold, so you have to really work hard to get them up to temperature. Moving on to this section, which just tells you detailed information about the car. So this actually tells you a bit of information about whether there's any incidents with the car. So it tells you wear on the tyres. If it's red, they're pretty much knackered. For the tyres, it tells you if you've got a puncture, but you can pretty much tell that normally anyway. It'll tell you whether your wing is damaged and how much it is damaged, because if it's on the red, you definitely need to replace it. But there are actually sections where if it's a light touch, you don't need to replace it, which is fantastic. And that is your final sector. This is the section. This is the area which I think is the best improvement so far that I've found. It surprised me when I was doing the race for the Australian GP, because I actually used this more than anything else within it, because it just gives you a lot of information about the fuel and that, which again you need to concentrate on managing your fuel throughout the race. You can't just keep it on your rich mixture, because you're not going to have enough fuel to last to the end of the races. And I believe, a couple of years ago, the same thing happened to Hamilton. He actually ran out of fuel, so it's not good. And there was a case this year where, end of the race, doing the flying lap round at the end, and one of the racing drivers, I believe it was, and he actually ran out of fuel at the end, so he had to get picked up and have a ride back to the main headquarters. But there you can, there's a lot of information, but I'll go into that later in the next video. But that's pretty much an overview of F1 2011, just a few of the new changes, a bit more information about the game, and you'll see more from this in the short future.